Where do you think you're going to put a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you. You've got a lot of nerve talking to me like that, Griswold.
I wasn't talking to you.
BoogeyMan band coming round the bend. Is BoogeyMan band. Is BoogeyMan band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. Thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is I'm trying something I just thought about doing, and I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to do it since this is December 1st that I'm recording this video. And today marks the 34th anniversary of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, my favorite Christmas movie of all time, and one that I was lucky enough to see in the theater when I was 15 years old. And I see a lot of people that sometimes comment when you post something or you say like, oh, that's my favorite in a franchise, or that's my favorite movie, and it might not be the first movie of a franchise. It might be the second or the third or the fourth. It just depends on when that franchise entered your life. Like with Psycho. Psycho 2 is my favorite because it's the first one I saw. Same thing with The Exorcist. I just I posted on something about The Exorcist Believer and said that the third one was my favorite, and someone questioned, really, that's your favorite one? And I'm like, yeah, because I saw it in the movie theater. So, you know, with a lot of people that are reviewing content now on social media, on, you know, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and whatever, a lot of them weren't alive when these movies came out. I'm going to be 50 years old in less than 5 months. So it's kind of crazy to think about the fact that, you know, when National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation came out, I was 15 years old in my sophomore year of high school. And I saw this opening weekend with my mom. I was a huge Chevy Chase fan growing up, but I remember my mom watching a movie called Seems Like Old Times, which was a Neil Simon movie with the late Charles Grodin, Goldie Hawn, and Chevy Chase. Watched that. I remember seeing Foul Play when I was really young. That was on cable television a lot. Again, with Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase. It was actually his first movie after leaving Saturday Night Live. And there was just something about him. I don't know what it was. Sometimes you just sort of latch on to actors, and there's some type of charisma or something about them that you're drawn to. And with Chevy Chase, he just could make me laugh with just a stare or something, you know, just in his physicality, the way that he moved. He didn't always have to say something, and I adore Chevy Chase to this day. For me, he is my hero. He always will be. He always has been since I can remember. I think what solidified my love of Chevy Chase were the movies National Lampoon's Vacation and Fletch. Those movies came out in 83 and 85. I got to see Fletch in the movie theater. So that was my first introduction to seeing a Chevy Chase movie on the big screen. I remember laughing uncontrollably, even though some of the stuff I didn't really understand because I was 11. But over time, that movie is so quotable to me. And then after Fletch, which is my favorite Chevy Chase film, it is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is my favorite of the vacation films. I still remember my mom and I going to see it at Century 9 in Pinole, and it was a Sunday night, so we saw it on December 3rd, opening weekend. And I just remember laughing uncontrollably, even from the opening, which is an animated segment where Santa is trying to deliver presents to the Griswold's house, and everything just goes wrong. And just from the opening with them trying to get the Christmas tree, and then everything going wrong, trying to put the lights on the house, and Cousin Eddie, this was the second time we would see Cousin Eddie, because of course they weren't in European Vacation, but that whole family showing up, Catherine and Eddie and their kids, and just the dinner going wrong, the SWAT team showing up at the end. I still remember I was laughing so hard I could barely hear half of it, and it's the dinner table scene where the dog Snots throws up under the table. I remember I laughed so hard I couldn't even hear the rest of the scene. And I still remember the next day at school, going to school Monday morning and standing in line before getting into I had theater, so I was in theater too, and I remember standing in line trying to describe to my friends this amazing movie that I had seen and trying to recap like all that I could have processed and remembered. Having just seen the movie the night before, I tried to explain, some of the set pieces, but, I'm sure I got a lot of it wrong, but, I was just so excited and thrilled that I had seen a movie that it just made me laugh so hard and was just already a Christmas classic for me, even after seeing it just once. The movie just was something that it's one of the comedies that has made me laugh the most these last 34 years, and seeing it for the first time was overwhelming. I was laughing so hard. My mom and I were both laughing, and this movie wouldn't come out on VHS until the following spring. And I remember renting it. We rented movies from a place called The Warehouse, which I'm not sure a lot of people remember. But one thing I loved about The Warehouse, when you rented them, if you rented them at mom and pop video stores, usually you took the cover, the VHS cover, and you turned that in, and they gave you a box with the VHS tape in it, but no cover on it. It just had like the name of the store. It was just a blank box, and I hated that because I always wanted to take the box home with me. And I remember I used to set it on top of my TV, almost like a little mini poster, as I was watching the film, because it was just sort of cool to look at that and watch the movie at the same time. But I remember we rented it from The Warehouse, and The Warehouse let you take them actually home because they would have several copies of it, and they all had the movie box. So we rented it, took it to my grandparents' house, my mom and papa, and I remember my grandmother laughing so hard when Clark tries to pull his sleeve away from the house that he stapled it to, and it rips his shirt sleeve, and he falls back on the ladder and hits the tree. She laughed so hard she had to leave the room and go use the restroom before we finished watching the movie. And the movie just became a staple of mine in my family. Christmas time we would watch this. It was a heavy rotation. Even I would watch it, not even during Christmas time. I'm glad that this film is still so popular, because I remember the reviews for it were not favorable, and the movie ended up doing buku bucks at the box office that year. I believe it opened the week after Back to the Future 2, which I did see in the movie theater as well. But it did open the weekend after, and it stayed in theaters until after Christmas. I remember it was in theaters for a long time and did really, really big numbers. And for me, even though I love National Lampoon's Vacation, I wasn't able to see that one in the theater. Seeing this one with my mom and having that amazing memory, I just absolutely adore this film. And for over the last maybe 10 years, I have really not been in the Christmas spirit. I've had lots of issues that have come up, both being financial and job related, health related. So this year I've just sort of changed my way of thinking, and I'm really just getting into the spirit again, because Christmas has always been a special time for me and my family. And we had a death recently in the family. I haven't talked about it on any platform on my wife's side, which has really been sad, and it happened right before Thanksgiving. But time is precious and life is precious, and I thought I would, instead of sort of sulking and keep thinking that, Christmas isn't what it used to be when I was a kid, why don't I try to make it a better time and just try to be happy and try to bring some positivity to the world. So in my little channel here, I hope people find some positivity in me trying to sort of regain that Christmas spirit. And the last weekend I watched Polar Express, and then I threw this one on it. But just sitting down and watching it and just realizing the brilliance that it's a film that's timeless. It'll be popular 30 years from now. It's a great film. It's a fun film. It's got a great message about family and what's important. And it's just mixed in with this terrific comedic timing that everybody in the cast, especially Chevy Chase, who just, sort of centers everything. And like I said, you can't go wrong with this film. And I'm so grateful that I saw this in the movie theater and when it first opened. So I might do a few more videos like this where I talk about films that a lot of people talk about now that maybe weren't around when they came out. I thought it'd be kind of fun. Just wanted to do this real quick. I know I'm not in the lounge where I usually talk about movies, but I haven't done a video in here in a while, and I just thought, I would come in here into the horror zone and talk here, because I don't come in this room that much lately. I haven't been in here. I've pretty much kept it closed up. I'm always working in my office since I work from home entirely now, and working on my book, so I'm in there as well a lot, just writing. So I don't come into the horror zone that much, and I miss it in here. So again, just trying something new. I do have some Salem's Lot content I'm working on, particularly a new quiet little tribute to Salem's Lot, focusing on Jason Burke himself, that being the late great Lou Ayres. I hope everyone looks forward to that. I want to thank everyone for their continued support. I know I've been kind of silent for like the last week, but again, tragedy in the family and just sort of dealing with that in the holiday season, and then work and writing, and you know, I want this to be a great month for everyone. I hope everyone has a great holiday season, and I got a couple of ideas that I will pepper in throughout the month in terms of new video content. And I am still working on getting back to everybody's content, or everybody's comments. I've started, I just haven't finished. But thank you so much again, everyone, for watching. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Hey, my fellow Fright Fiends, I just want to thank everyone for supporting BoogeyMan Ben's Horror Zone. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to, please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video at least once or twice a week. The Horror Zone is a passion of mine, and it really makes me happy that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always.